The Senate answered my call to replenish the Paycheck Protection Program so that millions of additional American workers can keep getting a paycheck. We just increased it by $310 billion. I urge the House to pass the bill without delay.
Later today on Capitol Hill, the House set to vote on that nearly $500 billion relief program, rescue program, to bring more relief to millions of Americans impacted by COVID-19. This is Speaker Nancy Pelosi pulls the plug on proxy voting following Republican backlash. Joining us right now, Republican Georgia Congressman Doug Collins. Congressman, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but there are a lot of people across the country thinking, hey, Congress, come on, what's taking so long? Help us.
Oh, I agree with you. We should have done this a week and a half ago. This was when the president and the administration asked for this. The president made it very clear that we had a program that's working. Secretary Mnuchin has talked about this, but now it's taken this long before we could get Speaker Pelosi and finally Ms. Schumer on board in the Senate. So we're going to vote it out today. It's going to get to the president's desk. He'll sign it, and those businesses who need this money are going to be able to get that help that they need, because we're in a time now in which we don't only have the health of our country to think about, we have our economic health to think about. That's what's going to happen today.
Yep. Absolutely. It looks like $310 billion will be earmarked for the Paycheck Protection Program, which the president was just talking about. But when you look at some of the money, it's frustrating to see, Harvard was getting a bunch of money. They've decided not to take it. Stanford's not going to take the money. Princeton's not going to take the money. Yale's not going to take the money. But then when you look at other colleges that are going to take the money, you've got Columbia University, one of America's most elite universities. They're taking $13 million. Arizona State University is going to take $63 million. Penn State, $55 million. Cornell, $12 million. USC is going to take $20 million as well. I know Josh Hawley in the Senate is going to introduce some sort of legislation that would limit the amount you can get if you have an endowment at your university above a certain threshold.
I think we need to look at that. That's what happens, though, Steve, when you have a situation like this in which you need to get a lot of aid to a lot of people real quickly. And there are people who probably don't need it that are going to be eligible to take it. But it's not just you're eligible, so you take it. It says, do you need it? Right. Is there other people out there more? 74%, though, I will say this, 74% of the first round went to payrolls of less than $60,000 a month. That means that we are getting a lot to the small businesses. That we do have the outliers, but that's what happens when you're trying to get folks quickly.
I think that's probably right. Meanwhile, I'm sure the governor of your state, his ears were ringing last night because he disagrees with the president, and the president made it clear maybe he's going too fast. Watch this.
I told the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, that I disagree strongly with his decision to open certain facilities which are in violation of the Phase 1 guidelines. At the same time, he must do what he thinks is right. They can wait a little bit longer because safety has to predominate.
It's all about safety. And, I was reading an article today from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution where it talks a little bit about how people in the Atlanta area, where there are close to 6 million people, they're a little worried about it, whereas people outside of the metropolitan area, they're like, there are no cases here. We're probably going to be okay.
Well, look, the president wants the country open. I want the country open. The governor wants the country open. The problem is, how do you do it? And I think that's the problem with leadership. Yeah. Leadership's about communicating, and when you're not communicating clearly, look, the governor did not take away the stay-at-home order, but yet selectively decided certain businesses can open up. I'll tell you this, my concern is not having the local input into that, because up in my area, which is just north of Atlanta, we're having an increase in cases. In my local hospital, they're seeing a rapid increase. So it is, depending on the spot, that's where I think locals needed to have more input, and it's made people nervous. I think clear communication is what has to happen. But when you're telling people to still stay at home, but yet we're going to open certain businesses, that creates a problem in which people are not sure what to do.
Sure. I know, Congressman, right after this interview, you're going to somehow travel to D.C. How are you going to logistically do this? I mean, because you've got to go vote on it because it's not by, Zoom or anything like that. You actually got to show up in the big room.
Yes, we do. They're actually going to be having different places for us to enter. We're going to be entering in by alphabetical designation so that we can do our social distancing, keep our votes, away from each other. But look, Congress is, should be working, and I think for us to get back up there and do this vote is important for the American people to see that we are concerned about what's going on. We're making this happen. We can do this. We can be safe, and we can also do our job at the same time.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Stay safe. If it's alphabetical, you're going to be one of the first ones. Doug Collins
I'll be ready to go,
from Georgia. Certainly. All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck.